see also, let's see, they got 2 dual-core Intels on their highest one. Well, that's not even in the same ballpark.
Mm-mm.
The bells are not...
The one thing I'm also wondering about here, with while we're on the topic of CPUs, with the change that's happened in the Intels, I'm glad to see they adopted the 6 cores, and they adopted the right 6 cores, because there's 2. They could have adopted the 7000 series. I'm glad they went with the 5000 series, which, in my opinion, for this type of system, are a better chip to go with. What I don't get is why they're still doing this quad-core, 8-core thing like they are. Because there's now 8-core Xeons.
Sure.
As I'm like, if somebody... because I could understand if Apple still sold the 4-core... Used to, on the old 4-core, it was the 8-core with one of the CPUs missing. So you could upgrade it yourself aftermarket. They aren't...
It's the topology that they're after. For instance, if the highway going to and fro the actual die CPU out to RAM is then shared by 8 cores on one feed, then that's drastically different in topology of 2 dies having maybe it's still a shared bus, but parallel access to the RAM banks and back. Less quick overhead.
I know. I would agree with that if Apple was doing 6 DIMMs per CPU, but they're doing 4.
Sure. Oh, yeah, I know. That's obvious. I complained about that before. And when you use the DDR3 in the 4th bank, you're already killing the memory bandwidth and forcing it to even toggle to use that as extending the memory pool. So I always recommend.
Well, and I don't understand why they're doing that, because it's not like there aren't enough. It's not like there isn't enough space on the board. Used to, that was a trade-off. If you did that with the board, you were trading other things off. But we've had another 2 cycles of Moore's Law. That's not even a case anymore. I don't understand why they're not doing this in sets of 3s. Doing this in sets of 2s, especially with DDR3, especially on systems like this, like you say, it leads to just wasted stuff.
Definitely.
Which is just, it's one of those, like, for Apple's supposed to be the Rolls-Royce machine. Right. I don't know what's going on with your camera. You just got real fuzzy.
This is a Microsoft Live Cam. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, step number 1 with those is to turn the autofocus off. I know what you're talking about. Something about those cameras, like every 30 seconds they try and refocus.
I had what was the name of the camera? But everybody was talking all about how nice the Live Cam is. But yeah, it does this.
They are if you turn the autofocus off. If you don't turn the autofocus off, every 30 seconds they go, focus, not focus, focus, not focus.
You can't make change the settings unless I quit the video. So.
Okay, well, you're just gonna be Captain Fuzzy every now and then. No, but yeah, it's one of those things. It's more and more as of late, especially on the Mac Pro. You can almost forgive it on the HP because they're not claiming they're the best. They're not claiming they're the Rolls Royce. It's something I wonder if Apple didn't set themselves up.
You watched an E-League video. You used the word Rolls Royce. That's me.
Well, no, I've called Apple Rolls Royce in the past too, but yeah, I know. And honestly, there's an underlining joke when a fanboy calls Apple Rolls Royce now. If you know what's happened to Rolls Royce.
I know it. I mean.
I don't know if you're a car person or not, but Rolls Royce doesn't exist anymore. BMW bought Rolls Royce. So there is no more Rolls Royce. There's really fancy BMWs being sold under the Rolls Royce brand. So
I'm not gonna knock BMW there. Isn't their engine behind the McLaren F1?
Yeah, I'm not saying BMWs aren't good. I'm just saying BMWs are not Rolls Royces.
No.
And it's one of those. It's like the people who are buying Rolls Royces now. It's like they don't know that. They think they're getting a Rolls Royce. They don't realize they're getting a fancy BMW. It's not a Rolls Royce anymore, buddy. As
far as a lot of the claims that people use, because I don't think it's the same analogy at all. A computer, sure, you can have its features and things like that, but it's about power and delivering your applications to you.
Well, no.
And the hardware itself better do it quite effectively. It better run cool. Now, to make a parallel, if they're trying to claim that, okay, is it more power efficient? Maybe, maybe not. I don't think it is. Is there some great super cooling system? Nah. I've been inside Mac Pros and other machines,
No, really the only thing that's done different as far as cooling in a Mac Pro versus a standard off-the-shelf machine, not a workstation PC, but a standard off-the-shelf PC. And this is something custom people get into trouble with when they try and build a machine to compete with a workstation type machine. And that is, if you are building a workstation type machine, you do not use that built-in heatsink with that little fan. You spend the extra money on that heatsink that's as tall as the case, that does the maximum possible heat dissipation possible. You use the good silicone gel on it. You make sure to do all of those steps right. And those do cost. They're like, depending where you get them from, they're an extra $50 to $100 a CPU, but it's money well fucking spent.
Exactly.
It is.
Yeah. But I agree with them in saying, comparing Mac to Rolls Royce. I mean, I don't. This is awesome. I've always had fantastic service compared to HP and my Dell experience, and even Gateway I've had. But I can't go as far as maybe the magnet stuff and some maybe on the MacBooks and things might have some very luxury features on it. But as far as the Pro line, they're as luxurious as an HP would be in terms of its features, or an IBM in terms of its features, because all of them are in there for enterprise or professional use, and they're all going to pretty much have the same thing. I know there's bad laptops and shitty Dell or shitty. I don't want to use the word shitty, but
shitty's the right word. It's like whenever I find somebody who's being a fanboy, like the person we're not going to name again, but we know who we're talking about. That's what they're doing. They're comparing a good quality machine to a POS, and it's like, if you're going to compare machines, compare it like to like quality. Because they're all like qualities, and so on. It's
and I would even put up many custom parts and building my own, being far superior to many OEM parts.
Well, no, and that's the thing here with it. I almost feel on the PC side of things, whether you're on Windows or Linux, if you don't like what the OEM is offering you and you just feel it's too much money, it's not offering you enough, you feel, no, I want a motherboard with six or 9 memory chips per CPU rather than 4. I need the extra expansion slots because I can use 6 GPUs in the workflow I'm doing. I need a case and system that can handle 8 hard drives because I'm going to use them. And my configuration, because they're going to do things like I'm talking about. You're not forbidden to do that on the PC side. If that's the best solution for you, you can do it. To do that on the Mac side, you're stuck with one of 2 options.
Right up my alley, which is license out OS 10.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. The problem with and like we're talking here, this machine doesn't quite get there if you need to be doing these things, but because it's Apple, you don't have the option to fix this problem. At least not cost effectively, without breaking the law.
But now, like I'm saying, if we got to keep it fair. If it's OEM versus OEM, and I'm a company that is not going to build my own, then I'm going to stick with HP and then go back to them and say, hey, how much is it to add this feature? How much is it to add this feature? And I know Apple does work on custom orders on the Mac Pro lines for a lot of their clients, and I feel they'll probably handle it the same way other OEMs would. And like I said, you and I can talk all day about building our own, but I've not been to a client that does that. They are on their brands.
Well, no, that's the thing. And what I'm trying, well, you're talking about a client. I'm talking about people. That's the thing. Typically, the people doing the type of work that this machine is more geared towards, the whole office may be Mac, but when it gets to that, okay, this person who's doing this specialized work who needs a true pro machine, I find in a lot of companies they're either an independent contractor,
Okay.
or they approach a different rule book because in which they meet halfway. Sometimes this person pays it partway out of their salary. Sometimes the company reimburses them. They say, build the machine that'll make you be as efficient as possible for us so we're getting the most bang for the buck out of the hours we're paying you for. Not, we pay you for more hours because we tied your hands behind your back and everything else. It's a very niche type of person, but that's exactly who this machine is supposedly sold to. Again, getting back to these machines in whole. And it isn't about the dollar sign when it comes to these machines. Everybody I know who's doing that type of work, you go price their arrays, they start at 10 grand and go up. It's like, these are not, money was not the primary factor here. Productivity was the primary factor when building that setup.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
it's